Petersburg welcomes on central court Pablo Andujar, Spain, winner of 4 ATP singles title, current singles ranking 92, highest singles ranking 32. Санкт-Петербург приветствует на центральном корте Денис Shapovalov, Канада, победитель одного турнира ATP в одиночном разряде, полуфиналист Санкт-Петербург Open 2020, текущий рейтинг в одиночном разряде 13-й, наивысший рейтинг в одиночном разряде 10-й.
A very warm welcome to day 3 of our coverage from the St. Petersburg Open in Russia. We have ATP 250 action throughout the day, busy day on centre court at the Sibur Arena, and some good stuff to kick off with. Denis Shapovalov, the number 2 seed,
Ranking 10.
up against the Spaniard in on a protected ranking this week, Pablo Andujar, who's had a couple of big wins this season. We'll talk about those in a bit more depth. First of 5 matches on this court today. Cilic will take on Ramos Viñolas in match 2. Manarino up against one of the Russians, Khachanov, the 6th seed. That's the 3rd match on court. Rublev, the top seed, will play Ivashka, and Bublik and Struff will finish proceedings as match number 5. Mix of second and first round matches today. This one a second round match, all the top 4 seeds with byes into round 2. A couple of first round matches, that Cilic, Ramos Viñolas and Manarino Khachanov, and then second round contest to finish.
Guys, just a few reminders. We have the shot clock placed on the 2 boards over there. The clock will start after I announce the score in Russian. We have live electronic line calling for line control by the system, including the football, and close balls will automatically be shown on the scoreboard. For now, we have the boxes. Dennis, can you please take the box with number 1? Pablo, you will be the box with the number 2. Okay? Do you have any questions? No? Pablo, we got ATP and we got World. World is called? It is World, Pablo. You receive? What match?
Pablo chooses World. He wins the toss. I think he's going to receive, so Shapo will kick us off in around 5 minutes time. First match of the day, day 3, ATP 250 action. 1 of 2 events this week on tour. Pablo Andujar up against Denis Shapovalov down at the foot of the draw. It's a pretty strong 250. It's always been the case here in St. Petersburg, a well-supported event over the years. Andujar coming through against an out of form Federico Delbonis yesterday on this court, 6-2, 7-6. Got a little bit tight towards the end. Delbonis serving for that second set, but the Spaniard playing a pretty good breaker. Bublik came through against Chernev, a Russian wildcard on day 1. Struff got it done against Duckworth, and as I mentioned, those guys will face off at the tail end of the day. Very warm welcome then from myself, Lee Goodall. Miles McLagan is alongside me. Miles, you were just telling me a tournament you visited in the past with the coaching hat on, but a different venue back in the days when this was played in town at one of the older venues. Good memories of visiting the city, though?
Good afternoon. Yes, we did have good memories. I was fortunate enough to be alongside Andy Murray, and he was one of a number of titles he was able to get his hands on, but and he's gone on to win many more since then, and back in action. Who you wouldn't bet against him getting a few more of the form he's showing, but yeah, right now these 2 men, and another young man down the other end who's be looking to get his hands on just a number of titles, but he's up against a tough competitor today. Pablo Andujar has fought back against all sorts of adversity, hasn't he? Times out for injury, fought back. But he's up against quite some shot maker in this young Canadian today.
Yeah, Andujar's is an incredible story, isn't it? And it's been a pretty good year for Denis. Always interested. Fascinating, wouldn't it, to be on a fly on a wall when Shapovalov sits down with his team. Mikhail Yuzhny's still alongside him these days. and you try and assess the years in terms of whether it's been a successful period or not. The ranking would suggest it is. That's a very, very respectable ranking. Semis at Wimbledon, that was a career first. That's always a positive, isn't it?
Absolutely, and yeah, that rankings graph certainly trending in the right direction, although it's got a few points to defend. As I said, the ranking system is a little complicated right now for obvious reasons, and so he'll have some points from back in 2019 that he's needing to defend, namely in Paris. But yeah, what a game he has, and yeah, those milestones at semi-finals. And yeah, he'd be looking just to play closer to his top level more often.
Yeah, I'll be hoping that's the case today. Does have one win under the belt against the 35-year-old Spaniard. That was 2019, start of that season, before the tours, of course, were affected by the pandemic. Fairly straightforward that day for Denis. 6-2, 6-3, 7-6. But I suppose he's one of those competitors, isn't he, Andujar? If you are having an off day, and I think we both feel that there is still a little bit of uncertainty when Shapovalov steps on the court. When he's good, he's brilliant, but there are still a few off days when the game can be a little more erratic. Andujar's the kind of guy who could make it a tough day at the office. Yeah,
completely agree with you. And you know, having got through a round, we've seen, you know, over the last few weeks, sometimes that can certainly play into a player's hands. Just a little feel for the conditions, the court surface. It certainly is, as you say, in Shapovalov's hands. I mean, he has the capability to blow many players off the court. But Andujar will know what his game is based on: digging in, grinding, making things as difficult as he can. So we'll need to be aware, Shapovalov. And yeah, it's an interesting point you make, how he would assess the season. Of course, any Grand Slam, any season you make a Grand Slam semi-finals at this stage is a real positive. Of course, you add to that a semi-finals in Dubai as well, a final in Geneva. This man as well, 4 titles to his name, all on the clay, his bulk of his success.
Sorry, some more towels, please.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Denis is getting ready for a long one.
Of course, he speaks Russian, doesn't he?
So first of 5 matches today on centre court here in St. Petersburg. To kick us off, Pablo Andujar, unseeded, ranked 92 at the moment in the entry list, but in on a protected ranking of 57. Up against the number 2 seed, Denis Shapovalov, the world number 13, currently 22 years of age. Shapo playing his first match of the week after the bye. Looking for a fast start.
Ready? Play. That's it now. 15 love.
Early indication of what Shapovalov will be trying to do. This is what he's capable of when he's seeing the ball well and feeling confident, getting the balance right. Joining us for the first time this week. It's a slowish hard court. Using the head balls this week. Our colleagues, Nick Lester was talking to Mike Russell, who's here in St. Petersburg alongside Taylor Fritz this week, saying the balls, they're pretty lively initially, but once they fluff up, then pretty tough to hit through the court. Which I guess plays into Andujar's hands to a degree.
To a degree, it often depends. Yeah, just the differences in the conditions. You know, someone like Shapovalov might like it slow because he feels he's got so much firepower. He can hit through any sort of conditions. And if he's in that sort of form, Andujar might cherish his free points. But yeah, generally, of course, as I said, he's had his bulk of his success on the clay. I'd say the speed that Mike Russell moves at, they all seem like slow courts, don't they? Pretty nippy, one of the hardest workers out there.
Yeah, still known for his gym sessions, is Mike, isn't he? So I'm coming out of the gym in our hotel in New York during the US Open. Looked like he'd just stepped out of a fully clothed from a swimming pool. Absolutely dripping in sweat. He walked past my table. I was just tucking into a stack of pancakes.
Made you feel guilty about your third helping.
So early chance. It's been a bit of an up and down game. Good return, nice and deep. Safe up the middle, and the Spaniard takes full advantage.
First game.
Well, Lee, you used the word uncertain a little while ago, and I think you're absolutely spot on. And that right there, yes, of course, there can be early match nerves, and there's a lot on the line for Shapovalov, looking to just keep his ranking up high. I mean, perhaps if things were to go perfectly, and I'm not sure if he's inside the equation for the race to Turin, but you know, you wouldn't, if someone who plays as well as he can, you wouldn't never bet it too much against him winning an event. But yeah, a couple of unforced errors that you'd certainly be looking for him to avoid. Not the start he would be hoping for.
Pablo Andujar.
By our maths, and it was never my strongest subject, we think Chapo's still in with a shout. Mathematically, I mean, it's looking unlikely, isn't it? Have to have an incredible end to the season. Just a word on that race. 6 have qualified. Of course, it's in Turin this year, taking over from London. The Nitto ATP Finals, the showpiece of the ATP calendar. The top 8 players in the world at the end of the season: Djokovic, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Zverev, Rublev, Berrettini have all qualified, so 2 spots up for grabs at the moment. That's Casper Ruud and Hubert Hurkacz occupying those 2 slots, but Cameron Norrie, Yannick Sinner very much in the frame.
Yeah, I'm sure the Italians getting very excited about the prospect of having 2 Italians, which is always great for the event, and particularly the sort of tennis. While Cameron Norrie is in phenomenal form, but Yannick Sinner fresh off victory in Antwerp.
Yeah, feels like Sinner's the one, without any disrespect to the other guys. Of course, you could make a case for all 4 of those, but it feels like Sinner's playing consistently good at the right time at the moment, doesn't it? He had that win in Sofia as well, which wasn't too long ago. Of course, Cam Norrie coming off the back of an incredible few days in Indian Wells.
Karatsev off a win as well.
Yep.
Too far behind.
12th in the race. He's seeded 4 here in St. Petersburg, 1 in Moscow on Sunday.
I
think it's got the feel to be one of those really exciting last couple of weeks, hasn't it? This is what we want on the ATP Tour. We've had some incredible weeks in Paris over the years where
We have, yes.
got the calculators out trying to figure out who's got to do what, and sometimes you get players who are meeting, you know, maybe third quarterfinals. Who can almost sort of eliminate each other in that last week, isn't it? Going head to head for spots at the finals.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
And
Leads by 2 games to love.
as Andujar consolidates the break, and you know, it's a real challenge for those sort of players to just keep their mind on the here and now. That match in front of them, get through it. Particularly the ones in the driving seat. You know, be careful not to play to protect their position. Beautiful ball striking, dangerous from any area in the court.
15 love.
Big shoulder turn, plenty of disguise, and well, he's consistently up there on the tour amongst the biggest hitters off both wings. And that's a good job from Andujar. Again, the return just early, and if Shapovalov is insistent on taking those big swings, it does leave him a little rushed.
Struggling to find his range early on.
15-13.
Played this event 12 months ago. This was an ATP 500 last year. It was upgraded just for that peculiar year we had, of course, on the ATP Tour when the tours restarted. Made semis last time around. Wins over Troitsky, Ivashka, Vavrinka. Lost to Rublev in the semis. Funny old autumn, wasn't it? We had the clay court swing just after the US Open.
Oh, this is looking pretty scrappy. We've seen moments of the brilliance that he can produce. I'm not sure this is the start he had in mind.
Sora. 30-14.
One more chance for the Spaniard. Good stuff under pressure.
Beautifully done. He tries to get on top of this, but it's just out of his reach, Andujar, and because he can't get it across, it just leaves that angle open for Shapovalov, who's still got that firepower even on the back foot.
Always plenty of intensity on the court when Shapovalov is in action, recognising that this is already a big service game. Yeah, it's a good hold in the end from 15-40. In danger of going down a double break. But the Canadian survives.
Дамы и господа, сегодня в 15:00 в зрительской зоне состоится виртуальная автограф-сессия участника турнира Санкт-Петербург Open 2021 Джона Милмана. Ladies and gentlemen, a virtual autograph session with John Milman will take place at the Spectators Arena, Princeton, 3 p.m.
Quickly look at Denis's year. It's that sort of time of the season, isn't it, where we can look back. Of course, it's been still been a peculiar year on tour with so many different kinds of challenges, and I felt throughout the year you never quite know what's going on with some of the players away from the court, having to face a different set of challenges. Initially travelling from bubble to bubble, trying to get the schedule spot on, stay fresh, deal with the testing, the stresses and strains that the pandemic has brought. I think especially some of those with families who've been trying to travel as well. We're talking about that with the likes of Andujar and Delbonis as well. So many different things going on, but still got to somehow try and step on the court and win matches. Denis has done that from time to time. It's been a little bit streaky, I think is fair to say. First really good week was the one you mentioned in Dubai, Miles. That was semis, always a strong ATP 500. Although it ended in frustration. He was up a set in the break on Lloyd Harris. That one got away from him. 6 in the third. I remember it was one of those matches as well where the serve deserted him when he was really in control of that contest in Dubai. Good week in Geneva. Had a really good match against Rafa, didn't he, in Rome? Almost got it done against Nadal. Chances to win that one was...
A couple of match points, I think.
Was well ahead against Rafa. And then had to miss Roland Garros. I think it was a shoulder problem, wasn't it? But
yeah, having just come off that final in Geneva the week before.
Great grass court season. Semis at Queen's, eventually losing to Cam Norrie, and then of course the run to the semi-finals at Wimbledon. That was his first semi-final at major level. Beating Murray on centre court comfortably, beat Bautista Agut. So that was a really good performance. 1, 3 and 5. Khachanov in 5 sets, and then played a good match against Djokovic, didn't he? I mean, Novak came off court that day saying Denis played better than me for large portions of that match, and yet it was Novak who came away with the straight set win. But a lot of positives to take away.
Yes, really was. And how often do the greats say that, don't they? I don't feel like I was the better player out there, but
I've won in straight sets.
Yes. But what a lesson, and that's perhaps maybe the most important lesson that Shapovalov can take from that. It is, you know, those moments battling down the hatches in those key parts of the match.
Hasn't really got it going since then. Lost early in Gstaad on the clay. Decided to play a week on the clay after Wimbledon. Lost to Tiafoe comfortably on home soil in Canada. That would have been a disappointment at his home Masters 1000. Lost to Benoit Paire early in Cincy. Lost to Lloyd Harris in straights at the US Open. Cam Norrie comfortably in San Diego. And Karatsev in straights at Indian Wells. So looking to certainly finish the season with a little more consistency, you would imagine. I think maybe the trap that not necessarily you would fall into that trap, Miles, because you've been there on the coaching side, but someone like myself, when you're looking at results, you're only looking at results and numbers and rankings, because it tends to be a results focused business, doesn't it? But I suppose Denis and the team will maybe look at the year slightly differently. If you feel like the game's going in the right direction, that's the most important thing when you're 22 years of age.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right with that, especially a talent like this, if you're just starting to fill some of the gaps. And he'll come with a challenge, because, you know, how much do you tame this natural sort of flair and the power? You don't want to become too predictable, and you know, he has the ability to keep his opponents completely off guard by hitting winners from every part of the court. So there is a challenge there.
Been working with Mikhail Yushny a little while now. So Mum, of course, is still very involved in the game. We saw Mikhail a couple of days ago courtside. Presumably is somewhere lurking in the shadows. Former champion in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, I think also being helped from time to time by Scotty Davidoff, who's been around the tour for a number of years. Nicely done, making good use of that lefty serve. And you know, to your point about taking the year on, I mean, those are sort of areas where, you know, they may be seeing improvement. Oh, we're getting a little more value for the lefty serve. That's something Cam Norrie, you know, addressed, and we see the fruits of that now.
It's a heck of a second serve to wrap up game 5.
Leads by 3 games to 2.
3-2, first set.
Дамы и господа, сегодня в 15:30 в зрительской зоне состоится виртуальная автограф-сессия участника турнира Санкт-Петербург Open 2021 Маккензи Макдональда. Ladies and gentlemen, a virtual autograph session with Mackenzie McDonald will take place at the spectators area, grandstand, at 3:30 p.m.
Denis is playing doubles this week as well with Rohan Bapana. A decent win first round. They'll be the second seeds, Klaasen and McLachlan, 5 and 4. They'll play Achanov and Rublev. I think that's going to be played tomorrow on centre court, I believe. Star-studded doubles.
I think I can confirm now that's going to be on centre court. Unofficial, of course, but yeah, it's great to see these guys playing doubles. I mean, it's good to watch, but also for their games to develop. All those names you mentioned. Getting a lot of value out of pressing Shapovalov into that forehand.
15 love.
Nicely done. A little different when he's got some time to work with. Time to make choices and drag Andujar wide. This was quite a clever shot because he was in all sorts of trouble. Didn't need to change the pattern, but quickly up to it. He's found it. What speed, what balance. Again, it looked to be the right shot from Andujar. He's made the aggressive move forward, and Shapovalov's got a lot of ground to cover. And just take a look at this skill, how he feeds it up the line. Andujar did choose to leave it, but it wasn't going to be easy.
There he is, the Colonel.
15-14.
Mikhail Yuzhny, court side.
Sweet striker of the ball, and he'll be happy with that one. The old Jedi, Borisovkin.
First one gets away from him.
30-14.
Borisovkin, the long-time coach of Mikhail Yuzhny, so passing it down through the generations, aren't they?
Two opportunities slipping by.
Advantage in Shapovalov.
Another chance then for the Canadian. Get back on level terms.
He's just overdone it. Loved the return, just blocked into play. Good length, not a whole lot of pace on it. He's got himself into a rally, and as with the forehand, the previous break point, he's just overdone it.
Directing a fairly long, hard look, presumably in the direction of Mikhail Yuzhny. That backhand flew long.
Bolche, advantage, Andujar. Game Andujar.
Bit of an untidy service game, but a good one to win for the Spaniard.
Andujar Vidiot and Jettiredva.
Perhaps
Leads by 4 games to 2.
an example of something we were touching on at the start of the match, Miles, that he's not going to give those kind of games to Shapovalov today. He's going to keep slugging away and hustling through those service games. 2-game advantage once more.
Hot. Non-15.
Get the feeling with the Spaniard after everything he's been through, something we touched on yesterday, the 3 surgeries in the space of around 12 or 13 months with 3 different doctors. It really was getting desperate for Andujar in terms of finding a solution for that injury in order just to carry on playing, really. That he does now savour every single moment on court. And appreciate life as a tennis professional. Sometimes it takes that sort of experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, to have it perhaps taken or threatened to taken away from you, and the resilience he's shown has been commendable. In fact, I think leaves him as the lowest ranked title winner, doesn't he, when he came back and won Marrakesh. Ranked in the 300s, I believe he was.
Nol Sorak.
Yeah, one of 4 clay court titles. 3 of those in Morocco, a couple in Casablanca, 1 in Marrakesh, 1 in Gstaad. Shapovalov's serve has deserted him. The amount of frustration in that last backhand.
It's a stunning strike, isn't it? Andujar's doing everything you'd want of him. He has a good return. He's taking the ball early, trying not to give Shapovalov that time, but boy, when he unleashes it, is something to behold.
Still 2 break points to face. And there's the double break. Again, another point where Andujar has done a good job of just finding a way to get a couple more balls back into play. Proved to be enough, and he's in firm control, 5-2.
Дамы и господа, сегодня 15:30 зрительской зоне
In my opinion, yesterday was much more time to see the points. I think probably you are not giving this extra 3-4 seconds.
Well, I do also depending on the point, you know. If it's a long rally, I wait a little bit. And it also depends if we have spectators clapping. But if it's a quick point, once I announce the score in Russian, I start the clock.
Don't you mind, please, giving this, even if it's a fast point?
Well, I do what we are supposed to do. I don't know what happened yesterday, but this is how we do it. You've already put towels in each corner, right? You've already put towels in each corner.
Yes, but even like that, the court is too big. So when I get there, I am already in 1 digit.
Okay.
When I get there. So
I always wait until you are close to the towel, and then I start the clock. I don't start it earlier.
Okay.
Pablo Andujar in discussions with the chair umpire during the sit-down. It's an age-old discussion. Seemed to be based around when the shot clock is starting, Miles. Is that your take on that conversation?
Yeah, exactly that, which sort of somewhat defeats the purpose of a shot clock, doesn't it?
It was almost like he was asking her to
not start it for a while. I'll tell you, if I could start at the stopwatch when I wanted, my 100-meter time would have been a lot better.
Serving for the set. Not like it's bothering him too much anyway, does it? He's played a good set so far. It's Shapovalov who
15 love.
feel like he's getting more erratic by the minute.
I was going to say, you'd imagine he'd want to keep things just as they are and actually keep up the pace of play before Shapovalov really sort of takes the time to think and settle himself.
Oh, something special.
A little bit of magic there. Look how quick this is from Shapovalov. Again, almost a dead net cord and the no look, and he gets totally undone by this one as Andujar sets up to just push it cross court and slides across the face.
Tricet, 15. 30-15.
Just momentum important here. Andujar wants the set in the bag, but wants it clean as well. Shapovalov is making quite a few unforced errors. If he can keep the scoreboard ticking over while his opponent's in that sort of form, that would be the ideal.
Tricet 30-14.
Chance then to extend this first set a touch longer at least. It could be the start of an incredible turnaround, you never know.
It's a great spot to hit that backhand, somewhat through the middle of the court. Just doesn't give him that space to move on to it. Just a little tucked up, you see him pushed off.
Nicely done.
Yeah, this is a nice bit of feel. Because when those go wrong, they don't look great, do they? Hang in the air for a long time, but he had Shapovalov completely wrong-footed.
Brings up set point. And it's a rock-solid set from Pablo Andujar. Shapovalov, in truth, up and down throughout, but the Spaniard has taken full advantage. 6-2.
He'll be absolutely delighted with his first set, and Yeah, certainly given somewhat of a helping hand by Denis Shapovalov. The unforced errors coming thick and fast. There was always a chance. He had the 3 break points just to make things a little more difficult, the Canadian, but unable to capitalize. And really getting punished for missing that first serve, which is not hitting the mark as often as he needs to right now. But we know he's got the game to turn it around. Has he got the mentality today?
So it's been a very good 40 minutes or so for Pablo Andujar, our first match of the day on centre. First of 5, just a reminder of the order of play. Cilic up against Ramos Viñolas in match 2. That one's a first round match. Then another first round encounter. Manarino will face Charnov, number 6 seed. And then finish with a couple more second round matches. Rublev, the top seed, up against Ivashka. Rublev is the defending champion. Bublik to play Struff. Doubles on court 1 today. It's a busy day over there as well. One of the more doubles pairs that jumps out. Fritz and Tommy Paul playing together. Who will face one another in the second round in the singles tomorrow. The 2 Americans, good friends.
50 love.
Down in this bottom half. Millman to play Khachanov as well tomorrow. Rublev, Bautista Agut, the 2 highest ranked players in the top half of the draw.
It's interesting, a lot of the names you mentioned have on good form or been winning matches. I mean, there's been a pretty good push by the Americans as of late. Tommy Paul playing some good tennis, Taylor Fritz too. Of course, we had Brooksby and Nakashima last week coming through the draw in Antwerp, and then, as we mentioned, the names just outside the race and the names vying for position. Norrie, Karatsev, Sinner.
Yeah, I think I might have just said Millman's playing Khachanov. He's playing Karatsev tomorrow. Yeah. My apologies. Karatsev, the 4th seed. So if you're going by seedings, the semis would be Rublev, Bautista Agut in the top half, Karatsev, Shapovalov in the bottom half. But a bit of work to do for Denis if he's going to make the semis.
Sora Pednatset, 40-15. Sora Klitze, 40-30.
Number starting to climb, 5th double fault.
Good play again. He's so compact on that backhand side, and particularly in the second, of course, can be overpowered by the first. Second, he's enjoying sort of blocking it firmly back into play. And just again, I don't think it's likely to happen, but personally I'd love to see Shapovalov using the spin and the variation that he possesses, maybe hitting a few sliders into the body, setting up a big forehand.
First set percentage is way down so far, low 40s for Denis. That's brilliant.
Advantage, Shapovalov.
Such a heavy strike, you can hear it. He sets those legs, drives up off the ground.
Impressive conclusion to the first game.
Derby game of the set. First game, second set.
Some better signs. Two of his most memorable victories this year, Pablo Andujar, especially after all those injury problems he's been through. Beat Roger Federer in Geneva in 3 sets, and he took out Dominic Thiem at Roland Garros. Of course, we all know Thiem has had a difficult year, but even so, a couple of very special days for the Spaniard. Described those wins as like Christmas coming early.
Yeah, covered that match in Geneva, and in fact Federer served for the match. But yeah, you can leave out all the fill, can't you? Just stick with the headlines. Team at Roland Garros, Federer in Switzerland. Impressive.
Yeah, that's rocking chair material, isn't it? In a few years' time.
He was quick to get there, wasn't he? Another really good touch from Andujar, and it's this aggressive steps in. It just means Shapovalov's a fraction late, but he covers good ground getting there, but just a little too much to lift it up and over.
He was also part of the Spanish Olympic team this year. Went out to Tokyo, which you would imagine will be one of his career highlights as well, for different reasons. Spaniard who, let's face it, has spent most of his career out of the spotlight because of the depth of the quality of Spanish tennis during the era in which he's played.
Well, it is Shapovalov just getting his radar a little more dialed in.
15-13.
I think he'd have signed for that, wouldn't he, if you told him during all those injury problems,
Yeah.
Don't worry, everything's going to be all right. You're going to beat Thiem at Roland Garros, Federer in Switzerland, and you're going to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
He'd have...
Big bright light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, incredible stuff, isn't it, really? All credit to him for the hard work he's put in. There's a nice video of him on his Instagram page, actually, Andujar, of some of his time he spent in lockdown. He had his two toddlers kind of careering around the house, and he was practicing his serve into a bed sheet that was hanging up at the other end of the room. I mean, it tells you everything you want to know, doesn't it? It's been a tough period.
Oh, it's excellent defensive work from Andujar. Had to dig in and work so hard to absorb some of those blows. You just felt the intensity just rising from Shapovalov, who wants to make a move. The Spaniard holds his position.
Dios.
Frustration, and just a question for me is, usually in the foreground, Boris Sobkin, his coach, his long-time coach behind, does that ball need to be hit so flat and hard? He's got the power, the racket head speed, just to put a little bit of brush on it, shape as well, will make it perhaps even more difficult in different ways to deal with as it rears up off the surface.
Game Andujar.
Starting to feel like
One game on.
might have been one of those games that could have potentially helped Shapovalov turn the match around, but it's got away from him. More frustration. Again, full credit to Andujar, just quietly going about his business.
Petersburg, 50 love.
That's a wonderful feel.
It's a beautiful combination. The firepower and then the velvety touch at the end of it. Comfortable at the front of the court, Shapovalov. Just softening the hands to take the pace out of the pass.
Petersburg, 30-15.
Lights starting to flash on the Shapovalov dashboard, perhaps. Andujar will know this is an opportunity. Can make a couple of good returns here, could be in business.
Second service.
Dangerously.
It's excellent work from Andujar, isn't it? Right on top of that return, not letting go. Shapovalov in turn refusing to back off and play any sort of out-and-out defense. It's all counter-punch.
Another chance to break.
It's an outrageous touch, isn't it? Given the situation. I don't feel that is necessarily a virtual match point, but it's certainly a huge point in the context, and he's followed up a big serve with the most delicate of touches.
Advantage and Shapovalov.
Yeah, another big hold. He's battling away. Not playing his best tennis today, but
Leads by 2 games.
Still trying to find the solutions. 2-1.
Дамы и господа, 15:30 в зрительской зоне состоится виртуальная автограф-сессия участника Санкт-Петербург Open 2021 Маккензи Макдональда. Ladies and gentlemen, a virtual autograph session with Mackenzie McDonald will take place at the Spectators Arena ring stand at 3:30 p.m.
Nice ATP 250 event this. It's been around since 1995, held at a different venue originally, which I'm pretty sure has now been demolished. I think I'm right in saying that. Moved to the brand new Sibur Arena from 2015. This place opening in 2013. It's actually right next door to the home of Zenit St. Petersburg, the big football team in this part of the world. Big stadium that was used in the World Cup 2018, 65,000 capacity. I think it's going to stage the Champions League final as well next year. It's very much a sporting district. As you touched on, Miles, of course, Denis fairly comfortable in this part of the world. He can speak Russian fluently. So it took me by surprise. I was looking at, it was at the draw ceremony. There's a video on the official website. Pops up speaking in fluent Russian. Okay, you just associate him with Canadian tennis, don't you? Forget about the Russian element to his family.
Let's for service.
Perfect fit for the tournament in many ways, isn't it? Guy who's around the top 10 in the world, kind of brand of tennis that he brings to the court, and he can engage with local media as well.
Yep.
Ticks all the boxes.
Not beaten. Love 30.
Well, big moments here for Andujar, having just had that opportunity. Shapovalov, it's been a little loose at times, but the body language remains positive, upbeat, energized.
Got his reward.
Reward for a real quality point. Just took the sting out of a couple of shots there. The return was good. It was a backhand slice through the middle of the court. He played a forehand with a bit of shape on it. Mixed in with, of course, the usual firepower.
Three chances to make a move early in this second set. This time he converts. A very different feel to this second set. All of a sudden.
Leads by 3 games to 1.
He's done a pretty good job of knuckling down, hasn't he, in this second set. Mentally felt quite fully engaged, or at least there were elements of frustration in the first set, but he's got down to work in this second.
I suppose, you know, let's not forget it is his first round. Kind of a little bit of slack for that. It's often, you know, players will talk about just getting through the first match any which way you can.
Sensational. What a backhand that was to take control of the point.
Angle wasn't really there to be found, was it? It's from fairly central position. And somehow was able to just draw Andujar wide and cleans up nicely afterwards. Starting to flow a whole lot more smoothly now. He loves this one, the forehand up the line. You can just see from that angle, able to give it a little bit of margin over the net. Got to guess Andujar. He knows it's coming with such force.
Yeah, this is turning into a good passage of play for the second seed. Starting to look like we will need a third set.
Yeah, a couple of big points going back. Faced the break point, didn't he? On his own serve, Shapovalov. A chance for Andujar to go set in a break, and he played that cheeky little drop shot. Well, things might have been different, but he looks a whole lot different now. Game flowing. Series of points in succession.
Roberto Bautista Agut taking keen interest. Actually watched Andujar's first round win over Delbonis yesterday. RBA will kick off against Mackie McDonald tomorrow, his second round match, top half of the draw. Yeah, he's flying right now. It's like a different player all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's 12 in a row since he saved that break point. So what he does have the ability to do, just take the racket completely out of the opponent's hands.
That's okay. 15-0.
A drop off from the Spaniard, second set. In terms of the effectiveness behind the first serve.
30-15.
Just goes long. Certainly looking to use that slice backhand a little more often. Buy himself a bit of time, perhaps. And Andujar has done a good job on certain shots of just feeding off the pace when he's been in position. Yeah, that sort of firepower and a bit of width to it, and it's out of the opponent's strike zone where they can set up.
40-30.
Devastating.
Game Andujar. Shapovalov idiot, 4-2. Leads by 4 games to 2.
Make sure he keeps it to a single break.
Let second service.
There we go. There's the trademark backhand. And that's a sure sign. The confidence is growing.
From behind the baseline, up in the air. Backhand side, single-hander. No, that should be as easy as it looks. He's played a couple of beauties, hasn't he? And that one's a little more difficult, taking it up the line. Go outside of the ball. You've got a little bit more room for error, but that needs to be played perfectly, and it was.
Wait, please. Game Shapovalov. Shapovalov идет 5-2. Leads
Game away from forcing a deciding set, 5-2.
Уважаемые зрители, сегодня в 15:30 в зрительской зоне состоится виртуальная автограф-сессия участника Санкт-Петербург Open 2021 Маккензи Макдональда.
I saw one of Denis's very special single-handed backhands. If you want to learn that shot, I'm not sure it's that straightforward, Miles, but there is a video on the ATP website. It breaks it down into...
It should come with a doctor's warning, shouldn't it? A physio's warning.
Broken down into 5 key points: recognition, space, footwork, take back and timing. But it's a pretty unique shot, actually, isn't it? So even on the ATP Tour.
Yeah, we see a number of two-handers taking that on, and I think the sort of poster boy originally was Marcelo Rios, wasn't he? We've seen a few since, but on the one hand, boy, it takes some timing, and one thing missing off the list is talent.
Time.
It's been all Shapovalov last 10 minutes or so. Andujar serving to stay in this second set, 2-5.
Neu benattet. Lofty. 15. 15-0.
Just a couple of loose ones. Just when it looks as though things are tidying up. Certainly been far fewer of those unforced errors. Numbers in general just a lot healthier second set and reflected in the scoreline.
Yeah, just 2 unforced errors from the Canadian in this set.
Sorek 15. 40-15.
One of those compact two-handers you're referring to early in the match. Oh, beautiful. What a half volley that was.
Stunning bit of skill. Andujar takes it back cross and just about squaring the racket face up just in time. It's a pretty big swing and he gives it a punch. Look how extreme that backhand grip is.
Really has turned on the style in this second set, Shapovalov.
Game Andujar.
But it's a hold, and he forces the Canadian
New board space.
to finish the job. See whether the quality continues when it really matters.
5-3. Leads by 5 games to 3.
Sorry, 27?
27, 26, but...
Okay.
It's tension, 27 on the main string, 26 kgs on the cross.
Canadian with the new balls, trying to serve out this second set. Oh, goodness me. Holding back.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning play. Right inside the line there. Early opens up the angle.
Fairly accurate assessment.
I was going to make the point, but you'll understand if I held back after the first point. But yeah, this is because of what we've seen from Shapovalov. There'll be some hope for Andujar here, who will be thinking if a couple of those misses come at the right time, I can get myself back in. And I think it's one of the areas for Shapovalov, and let's be clear, phenomenal player. He's been top 10. But to go to the next level, it's just almost extinguishing that bit of hope at times. You wouldn't have Nadal, Djokovic down the other end thinking that they're going to give you any more than perhaps one easy point in this situation.
There we go.
There's 2.
All of a sudden, the game has a slightly different feel.
15-13.
And so much of it is about that, you know, not only what you feel your opponent and the hope they have.
30.
Couple of big serves to get him out of a slightly uncomfortable patch.
Set point. Good job with the return. Making the most of the second serve. Still work to do.
They really did that. Short, punchy take-backs, just perfect on the return, particularly when you're getting the sort of pace that you do from the Shapovalov serve. Once again, where just that variation, a bit of spin, mixing it up, could do the Canadian some good.
Bullshit. Advantage in Shapovalov.
Finished in brilliant fashion.
6 games to 3.
Mikhail and Boris fully appreciating the quality of those final 2 points. Set apiece.
Уважаемые зрители, подписывайтесь на социальные сети турнира Санкт-Петербург Open 2020.
Very nice turnaround from Denis Shapovalov, who was looking in a little bit of trouble at one stage. He had to face a break point at 1-1. He played that cheeky little drop shot and then went on a tear from there. Numbers looking a lot healthier in this second set. In fact, losing just 2 points behind that first serve, that colossal first serve. When it landed, he only needed the one chance, the one break point, able to capitalize and get himself out in front. A lot cleaner than the first set, trending in the right direction, the Canadian.
Set final. Andujar.
So into a decider. First match of the day on centre court in St. Petersburg. Andujar to get us back underway.
Petersburg. 50 left.
It's a brilliant bit of feel, isn't it? There's not a lot more Andujar could have done with this approach. Low position, and he's got to really brush up and down the back. It's good accuracy. Perhaps a little more length if you're going to be critical, but boy, oh boy, that's good touch. Incredible shot he's able to pull off there, because obviously on the angle, your margin in terms of distance that you can hit the ball is a lot finer, too high, and that goes into the tram lines.
Let the service. Спасибо.
Electronic line calling used this week. No line officials on the court, so the calls generated by the Hawkeye cameras fires up the audio that you hear. So no challenge system as such. You can have a closer look at a close call if you need to satisfy your curiosity.
Tricet and Sora. 30-14.
Chance then for Shapovalov to carry over that momentum from set 2.
Yeah, no real reaction, but that must be a disappointing miss. You see, set at that momentum, just wants to keep it running. He's starting to get a handle on Andujar. Certainly had the upper hand for the last half hour or so. I think we touched on it at the start, didn't we? So much of the tennis that Shapovalov plays is in his own hands. I mean, the shot making he has, he controls the outcome.
There we go, further evidence of exactly that. On top in the point early, and another tremendous finish.
Yeah, beautifully done. Prepared to build the point, get himself into the right position before he goes for the knockout blow. A little bit of work still to do, but certainly seems to be heading in the right direction. The unforced errors, which were way too common in that first set, seem to have dried up, which is great news for the Canadian, not such good news for Pablo Andujar. Where does he go from here? He was getting a lot of success by looking to take that ball early, rushing Shapovalov, but might need to go a different route now if he can, because he certainly found his rhythm.
Andujar did well there just to get that back low.
Yeah, he did, but I think this was a... Shapovalov had plenty of time to back off and just either play the half volley or even just nudge it into the open court. In the end, taking it the most difficult point. Yeah, that's a great play. The serve just tucking him up, and when he can start the point with that sort of shot, it's going to be tough to reel in.
Tricet, 15. 30-15. City. 30.
Yeah, beautiful serve. Perfect placement. You can add to that occasionally the same spot with a different spin, a little bit more slice on it, just to keep your opponent guessing. If anyone's ever played a good table tennis player, will know what it's like when that spinny ball sort of bounces off the bat.
Let's for service.
I remember a number of occasions playing with Greg Grozetsky, and his serve was a little like that. You had to be so positive with the contact, because if you weren't, the ball just dictated to the racket face and spun off at all sorts of funny angles.
Was he any good at table tennis, though?
I don't know. Depends who you ask, probably.
Leads by 2 games to love.
It's been a good start, a good spell for Shapovalov. Good to see him looking so engaged as well mentally. It's a bit in and out, to moments of frustration, understandably, in the first set, but he's been on it since second or third game of the second, isn't he? Has in the past admitted that the back end of the season, after a long year, has sometimes struggled with, certainly when he was a little bit younger. Getting used to a full year on tour.
Yeah, no need to do anything fancy there. The space was there, and I'm never going to run down another of those strikes. Just a very simply built point. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously been people in a lot worse situations than these guys, but it has been a tiring year, hasn't it? All the travel and the lack of release from the bubble at times.
Yeah, tournament's starting to look a lot more normal, thankfully. There are fans here in St. Petersburg, reduced numbers, around 30% allowed inside the stadium this week. Normal capacity of around 7,000 in this place, so it'll be around 2,000 or so. Oh, that is brilliant.
Well, we saw that half volley pass up the line a few games ago, and that's in a similar mold, just able to shorten the backswing on that occasion. And well, I hesitate to say punch because there was a little more on it than that, wasn't there?
Not the sort of approach you see too often. Playing with such confidence now.
Well, to get both of these back into play at the full stretch and get a swing on that run and keep it again with the sort of power he's able to get is quite remarkable.
Andujar just trying to cling on somehow at this stage. Oh, and again, one of his best so far today. The backhand has been simply brilliant at times.
It's such a great point, and yes, it is finished with a stunning blow, but I would almost wonder whether the two previous backhands might give at least his coaching team the most satisfaction. The way he's able to just dig in and stay in the point, use that athleticism, digging out those sort of points, turning them around.
Well, not surprisingly, Andujar eventually buckling under the pressure. Shapovalov has made a lightning fast start to this deciding set.
Уважаемые зрители, в зрительской зоне 15:30 состоится виртуальная автограф-сессия.
I think I'd be tempted, Mikhail Yuzny, just to get those last 2 points on video and show them to Denis and say, listen, it doesn't always need to be the lights out. You've got that in the tank, but set it up. I mean, the way he just used the slice, he took a bit of pace off, and the last point he blocked it back into play, then played a loopy forehand. Just it adds to the power because it's a variation to mix it up. Lots of work for Andujar now to get back into this one.
Time.
So that scoreboard looking a lot friendlier for Denis Shapovalov. It's been sensational, really, last half hour or so. All elements of the game in fine working order all of a sudden. Double break now in this deciding set. We've seen a bit of everything, really, haven't we, today? You made a very good point, Mars, that it's first match of the week. You know, it's never easy to just step on court and start playing your best tennis. But it was erratic the first set, and then you've got the other, you could make the argument, well, sometimes Shapovalov needs to focus on a better base level, and then you've seen the flip side of the coin in the last 10 minutes, and the kind of tennis he's produced that can beat the very best in the world on his day. So I suppose as the coaching team, it's that conundrum of you've still got that element to the game, but
Yeah, hedged all my bets by saying it's a challenge, isn't it? It's like, you don't want to take away from the natural flair.
It's so good, isn't it? I mean, it's almost unique on the tour what he can do with the tennis ball.
Yeah, the power he can generate and how easy it looks. But as I touched on in the last game, those couple of points that he played, I think the power is added to because you can contrast it with perhaps some floated slice, some shape on both wings, some extra spin. And just knowing when to turn the tap on when you do feel good. And yeah, it's a tough one, your first match, and as you wouldn't perhaps expect your forehand or your backhand to fire perfectly immediately, your mindset might not ease either. You just, there's some nerves, there's new surroundings. Obviously would have practiced on here, but competitive, being in the competitive environment.
So athlete. 40-13.
It was showing what sort of athlete he can be, but also, again, the shape on the forehand was actually the shot that drew the error. It's coming through at a slightly different pace and height.
2 games away from becoming our first quarter-finalist this week. Winner to play Bublik or Struff in the last 8. It's our last match on court today, 5th of the day on centre. We're hoping it's a busy last month or so on tour. Well, Shapovalov, Paris next week. Of course, he's played some good tennis there in the past, made one of his 3 finals in Bercy, the final Masters 1000 of the season. He's actually down to play Stockholm the week after Stockholm in a slightly different slot in the calendar. That's where he won his only title, so good memories from Sweden as well. Felix Auger-Aliassime is a good friend and fellow Canadian playing Stockholm as well, and then of course they will team up and try and bring home the Davis Cup trophy for Canada. One of a number of strong teams that were announced in the last couple of days or so.
Still a meaty chunk of the season left, isn't there? A lot of points and
a lot to play for, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Masters 1000, a venue where you've won a title, and Davis Cup, which Denis and Felix have always taken seriously. They won the Junior Davis Cup, didn't they, for the Canadians in Madrid. And they made the final 2 years ago, the first staging of the new look Davis Cup finals. Slightly different look to that this year as well. 3 different venues. The Canadians are in Madrid for their group matches alongside Kazakhstan and Sweden. And then a couple more venues, Innsbruck in Austria and Turin in Italy. And then the semi-finals will be played back in Madrid, and final as well. One-way traffic. Shapo putting on a show in this final set.
Leads by 5 games to love.
Just a game required.
Time.
So just the icing on the cake required by the Canadian to complete what would be a perfect final set.
Platz at 9. 50 love.
Just wondering, Miles, whether this would have been the outcome had Andujar broken early in the second set. That feels like it was a fairly significant moment.
Yeah, it's one of those sliding door moments, isn't it? Of course, we'll never quite know the answer, but he certainly was a different player from that moment onwards. I think it's so often the case that you do get your opportunities, and you know that is perhaps was the chance for Andujar just to really take this match by the scruff of the neck. Certainly Shapovalov was having some doubts. The unforced errors were coming thick and fast. So winners that are coming thick and fast now.
Match points for the number 2 seed. And wraps it up in style. A shaky first set, but from early in the second and throughout the decider, Denis Shapovalov produced some sparkling tennis. Good start to his week. He's the first player into the last 8 here in St. Petersburg. And he was putting together a bit of a highlights reel towards the end of that one. Hour and 49, 6-love in the third.
Ladies and gentlemen, red sands his emotional performance in our tournament.
Well, the numbers got better and better for Denis Shapovalov. one that might just perhaps worry him a little. Still the 8 double fault, so it does have a tendency to rear its head every now and again, but plenty of shot making on display, as you would expect. The first serve really effective for him. He'd like that second serve number above 50%, into the 60s ideally, but will take great satisfaction in the way he was able to turn that around. Pablo Andujar did what he could, looked to take it early and rush the Canadian, but in the end, the Kenyan just too much class.
Well, Denis, congratulations. It took you some time to find your range. I mean, you were down 1 set, and then something clicked. You began firing aces, passing shots, doing... What happened?
А мне по-английски отвечать или по-русски?
First you answer in English, and then we'll have a Russian. That's okay, how we agreed. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, definitely very tough to play Pablo. First round of a tournament. He's a great player, and yeah, it was a tough start to the match. I didn't feel so great, but I mean, I just told myself to keep going. Obviously, there's a lot of tennis to play, so wanted to really turn it around in the second set, and I did a really good job. Да, я против Пабло играть очень трудно. Я не был слишком доволен, когда я сетку видел против него. Я знал, конечно, будет очень трудный матч. Ну, как бы, да, начал очень трудно, очень, ну, неудачно начал, да, не чувствовал себя хорошо на корте. Но я себе просто говорил, то матч долго идет, да, и есть время, чтобы перевернуть. И во втором сете я как бы постарался поменять поведение свое и игру чуть-чуть завестись, да, и как бы после этого намного лучше начал играть, и я очень рад, потому что, ну, он очень трудный соперник.
Класс, спасибо. Second question in Russian. Вот не первый, не второй раз даже уже ты приезжаешь в Санкт-Петербург. С каким настроением? В прошлом году полуфинал. Что скажешь?
Да, конечно, очень классные ощущения приезжать сюда. К сожалению, да, я помню очень хорошо мой матч против Андрюши, который, ну, я вел там сет, да, и как бы очень хороший матч был, но, к сожалению, проиграл. Ну, тем не менее, как бы всегда приезжать сюда очень классно, и я всегда очень комфортно себя чувствую, да, очень публика болеет за меня, так что спасибо большое вам.
Well, the second question is in Russian. So how does it feel to be back? You were semi-finals last year here. Well, yeah, it always feels great to be back. I remember pretty well the match I played against Andre. I was 1 set up, and I lost this match in the semi-finals. But I'm really pleased to be here because I always get a great acclaim from the crowd here. Well, enjoy your win and be ready for the next match.
Спасибо всем. Спасибо.
Ну что ж, насладитесь победой и готовьтесь к следующему матчу.
Well, there we go. Evidence, if we needed it, of Denis is comfortable in this part of the world. He's taken the job of the translator there, isn't he? Pleased with his performance today, the way he was able to turn this one around after first set in which he struggled. And obviously keen to have a good week here in Russia after making the semi-finals a year ago. So the number 2 seed, Denis Shapovalov, safely into the quarterfinals, a bye in the first round. That was his first match of the week, getting it done in 3, and he will play either Bublik or Struff. And the Kazakh number 1, the 7th seed, 5th match of the day today on centre court. It's a busy one here in St. Petersburg on centre. That's 1 down, 4 to go. Cilic and Ramos Vinilas up next. Khachanov, the 6th seed, Rublev, the top seed, Bublik, the 7th seed, all in action. We'll be back with more live coverage. Match 2 in a few moments' time.
The Russian Ministry of Sports, the Committee of Physical Culture and Sports of the Administration, St. Petersburg. Организатор турнира Формула TX. Organized by Formula TX. Лицензиат турнира Petromir. The licensor of the tournament Petromir. Титульный спонсор турнира Protogen. the title sponsor of the tournament, Vertigen. Источник воды будущего прямо сейчас. Вода, созданная из воздуха вокруг вас. Качественная, свежая вода с восхитительным вкусом. Полезная для вас, лучшая для планеты. The source of water in the future, here and right now. Water created from air around you. Quality fresh water with an amazing taste, useful for you, best for the planet. Глобальный спонсор ATP Emirates. Global sponsor of the ATP Emirates. Турнир проводится при поддержке Министерства спорта Российской Федерации. Спорт – норма жизни. The tournament is supported by the Russian Ministry of Sports. Sport is the lifestyle. Официальный автомобильный партнер турнира «Автодом». Official car partner of the tournament «Автодом». Официальный партнер турнира «Grand Palace». Official partner of the tournament «Grand Palace». Официальная экипировка турнира «Бабалат». Official equipment of the tournament «Бабалат». Официальный мяч турнира «Head». Official ball of the tournament «Head». Официальный партнер турнира «Природная натуральная вода» «Тассай». Official partner of the tournament «Natural Water» «Тассай». Официальный партнер турнира ОАО «Косметическое объединение Свобода». Классика, знакомая с детства. Official partner of the tournament Cosmetic Union Свобода. Classic known from childhood. Официальный отель турнира Four Seasons Hotel Lion Palace St. Petersburg. Official hotel of the tournament Four Seasons Hotel Lion Palace St. Petersburg. Официальный фотопартнер турнира Canon. Official photo partner of the tournament Canon. Экологический партнер турнира Сибур. Ecological partner of the tournament Сибур. Официальный партнер турнира Конти. Official partner of the tournament Конти. Партнеры турнира MMC Agency, Byte, Ямагучи, S-Log, КСК Сибур Арена и ДТСШ Белокаменная при поддержке Газпромбанк. The partners of the tournament MMC Agency, Byte, Yamaguchi, S-Log, Sibur Arena, Tennis School Белокаменная by the support of Газпромбанк. Генеральные информационные партнеры Русское радио, Радио Монте-Карло и телеканал Санкт-Петербург. General Media Partners Русское радио, Радио Монте-Карло and TV Channel St. Petersburg всегда в центре событий. Always in the Action Center. Информационные партнеры Спортэкспресс, Санкт-Петербургские ведомости, Фонтанка.ру, GoTennis.ru и Tennis Weekend. Media Partners Спортэкспресс, Фонтанка.ру, GoTennis.ru and Tennis Weekend.
Assalamu alaikum, добро пожаловать!